Okay, I guess I'll go first. How has this offense changed in the last 2 weeks since Jake has been back?
Yeah, obviously Jake's a huge asset to our offense. He's a tremendous player, and in terms of some of the things maybe we ask him to do at the line, he's able to get us in the right play. We played with maybe a little bit more tempo. And I thought the guys up front did a good job executing on Saturday, right? And guys on the outside made some really good plays, and so I think we built some confidence. We got to carry that over into this week, but really 1 week doesn't carry over the next, so it all comes back to execution and guys being in the right place at the right time.
To put up 55 points, I mean, obviously a lot goes right in that regard.
Yeah.
How do you feel like even just in the first quarter of that game when you can sense that you're having a pretty special game? Having a pretty special game.
I don't know. Sometimes your tunnel vision. I mean, still, I'm frustrated. The first possession, we're kicking field goal. So, I mean, you're kind of looking back on those things, and there's certain things. I mean, in terms of execution as a play caller, hey, could have done something different here or there. But yeah, you could tell that we were moving the ball pretty well. And obviously in the second quarter there, we did a really good job in the middle eight, which we liked, the last 4 minutes there of the second quarter, and then we got the ball back again, and then you put points. So you really built some momentum there, and that really carried over to a really good third quarter.
I talked to Zane last week, and he said that Hayner makes Brett Favre checks at the line. How much creative does he have?
We definitely communicate in terms of certain looks. We might want to get to this or that. One of them in the game, the touchdown to Eric Brooks, I think Jake would attest to this. He checked to something and maybe probably should have went in a different direction. Obviously the play worked out for us, and some of that comes back to Jake giving him a chance. We got to be smart with the ball, but then Eric Brooks making an unbelievable catch out there.
You talked about how smart Jake is. Just can you kind of describe what kind of knowledge he has right now as a sixth-year senior quarterback?
Well, I think back about my own experiences. Obviously played with my brother, been around my brother a lot. Jake Browning was a really successful quarterback at Washington, who I think a lot of that came back to his mind and his knowledge and able to operate. And Jake is really those guys, for us right now.
It's like a Kellen Moore, Jake Browning type of quarterback?
Yeah, definitely.
Coach said that UNLV's defensive ends could provide a problem. What have you seen from them on film?
Yeah, they had, I believe, 6 sacks against San Diego State. They do a really good job in terms of creating some havoc. 7-42, the front 7. Number 2 is a really good player on the back end. I think they've created 18 turnovers, so they've done a really good job on defense and gave their team a chance last week.
Can you compare UNLV's defense to, Hawaii's not really fair, maybe San Diego State from a couple weeks ago?
Well, I think you look at the front, right, in terms of where the strength of the defense is and able to, in terms of penetration and moving the quarterback off his spot, those are things you got to be aware of, and they've done a really good job doing that.
Are there any other players that stand out in the back 7?
Yeah, I mean, you look at the turnovers. I think everyone's kind of found ways to get their hands on the ball. They got 13 interceptions and I believe 5 forced fumbles, which is 18 turnovers. It's a really good job so far this year.
Did you see something they did well compared to the previous 3 games where they seemed to give up a lot of points?
I can't say I've looked back. I've been watching more formational cut-ups in terms of this week. Obviously, it's a team game, right, playing complementary football in terms of offense, defense, special teams. So I think there was a couple there where maybe the starting field position for the opposing offense was plus 50, which makes it hard on any defense.
How's that healthy competition in the wide receiver room right now between Kropp and Remigio?
Yeah.
It seems like one of those guys is going to one-up the next on any given play.
Yeah, but I mean, those guys, one guy scores, right, they're all over there celebrating. They love each other up. They all understand certain guys have certain strengths and weaknesses and run certain routes better than others, and so we're going to get those guys the ball in those situations. And sometimes the defense, right, dictates where the ball goes, right? I know Kropp was trying to get him the ball earlier in the first quarter. Just defense is playing a little bit different, right? They're clouding the boundary, so the ball goes to a different guy. Obviously got the touchdown there on the glance, and then later on, right, we get the big post that Jake did a good job holding on and let Kropp, outrun that guy.
With Hayner healthy, is this offense 100% potential, or is there still more room to grow?
Yeah, there's definitely more room to grow. I mean, right, there's execution things on Saturday night where sometimes you could have a fault within a play that doesn't affect you, and right, the play still executes, and maybe to everyone else it looks great. But we still got to look at that in terms of making sure everyone is doing their job. Just because we could be in that situation again, maybe the ball doesn't get out as quick, maybe the ball gets backside and we're running the wrong route, and so there's always things that we're analyzing.
One more question if anyone has it.
Jake talked about the relief of finally having some possessions where the game wasn't particularly on the line last week. Is there some freedom as a play caller too against Hawaii and New Mexico to try some different things in those scenarios?
I think I go back to our fall camp offense. So, yeah, I think some of that goes back to, right, guys probably able to play fast. They got a lot of banked reps on those plays, and they're just able to execute. And they're not thinking, they're just reacting.
You had pressure on Shager all night long. What was behind that?
Well, we felt we had an opportunity to pressure them, and we wanted to make sure that the quarterback wasn't going to get comfortable. And so we were able to run some things that we hadn't run before. We came out aggressive, blitzing early in the game, and had some success with it. And I think it kind of set the tone. And then when we didn't blitz, we came out and tried to disguise some of the coverages, and I thought that helped us too. So, we've got a lot of blitzes. We've practiced them a lot. Still haven't dusted some of them off yet, unfortunately, but a lot of that's situational. And then once, you can get a lead and you can keep people off balance, that helps.
How challenging will it be to get to the quarterback with Murfield, who's more athletic?
It's going to be a challenge because they've given up some sacks, but he's also eluded a lot of rushers. He finds a way to keep plays, extend plays, keep things going. He's a good athlete, big athlete. He's similar to the guy from San Diego State in some respects. He's tall, he's rangy, he's athletic. So that's one area we have got to improve upon. Even the other night against Hawaii, when we gave up a couple of first downs in the first half, and it was quarterback scrambling. The longest run of the game Saturday night was a quarterback scramble, and we can't afford to do that against good quarterbacks like this that are athletic. So that's a challenge. But we like our matches, and we're gonna try to do as much as we can to disrupt their passing game.
In a game like the one that just took place against Hawaii, the defense wants that shutout, obviously, and for a while it looked like you guys were going to get it. Mm-hmm. Does that motivate you as a coach? You've been around the block for a while. You know how much the players want it. How much do you want that as a coach?
A lot. As a coach, yeah. Because they're so rare. I try to think back over the years of all these years of coaching, and you go years without getting a shutout, as a coach, and it's always, you go into every game hoping that you can, and kind of in this game felt we were right on the precipice of getting one. But then, we got a lot of players in the game, which was good. A lot of them learned on the run there the other night and didn't execute as well as we would have liked, but that's normal when you have young players getting opportunities for the first time. So it kind of hurts, because on defense you never relax. Not that you relax. I heard the earlier question about the offense playing with a lead. Defense, you're always trying to keep them from scoring. It doesn't matter whether there's 10 seconds left in the game or, and you're up 55-0. You just don't want them to score anyway. And so, we felt we had an opportunity to do that, but we go into every game saying that that's our goal. And hopefully, one of these games we can put a complete 60-minute game together and get that elusive shutout. But they are hard, believe me. That's when defensive players and coaches get game balls, when you get a shutout, because they're very, very difficult to get.
2 weeks in a row, Coach, Carlton Johnson's come up with a big play. Yeah. He had that interception against San Diego State, and he had a sack in the first half. We hadn't called his name the entire season. Mm-hmm. What type of a player is he, and what can he be? What is his potential in the Bulldogs?
It's funny that you asked that question. We were just talking about him in the locker room here after practice, because he made another couple of plays in practice. He's a playmaker. He's young, learning, but he's got a real knack for the game. He's a natural, instinctive player that has very good quickness, very, very good straight line speed, and he's a competitor. When he gets out there, he just thinks about winning that one-on-one situation. And so as he grows, I think we're going to see him to be more impactful as we go forward. We were kidding with him on the sack. He's so skinny that I said that the guy didn't see him coming. when the back went to block him because he just slipped by him, and but that's that's kind of when good players do those things. There was a guy there to block him, and he just kind of slid inside of him, and then we joked about the fact that Evan had hit the quarterback the play before, and that was a great hit, a perfect textbook tackle, clean hit. But the quarterback was a little woozy coming off the ground, I thought. You could even see him, his teammates picked him up, and he was kind of a little rubber-legged. And we said the only reason that Carlton was able to get him on the ground was because he was still feeling the hit from the play before, or else Carlton would have been holding on to his legs trying to get him to go down. But he's a good young player and got a lot of good football ahead of him.
Since you mentioned Evan, is he 100%? Is he moving the way that he was before the injury?
It's amazing what he's done. And he acts like there's nothing wrong at all with his leg. And when you watch the tape, he's playing just like he always has. He's, he's such a competitor and a physical player. He can do everything. And, I'm just thrilled that he's come back so strong at a position where, there's sharp cuts, there's jump, there's a lot of stress on your lower body as a defensive player, particularly at the safety spot. But yet there's nothing that I feel that he's not capable of doing right now, and I think he's getting stronger every week, so that's a good sign.
UNLV's got some big names at the skills positions, but what can you share about their O-line, what you see from that group?
They're a veteran group, a lot of experience on the O-line. They run the ball effectively they have two good running backs, a big back and a little back, kind of a change of pace type deal. But the smaller guys averaging over 7 yards a carry, and the big guys probably close to 5. So they've been effective running the football, and that's a credit to their offensive line. They've seen a lot of teams that do a lot of twisting and movement up front the last couple of weeks, and so their scheme has had to adjust a little bit to that. We're not necessarily that same style as San Diego State or some of the other teams that they've played. So it'll be interesting to see how they try to attack us. But it's a matchup that our guys are going to have to play very well up front, our front seven, because we first and foremost have to stop their run game.
Can I ask a random question? So you've obviously been a coordinator in the NFL. Mm-hmm. We asked Coach Tedford yesterday about seeing Allegiant Stadium. Is it something that interests you to see the $5 billion Death Star in Vegas?
Yeah, it is. I've seen pictures and seen it on television. But it's always neat when you get to play in a new venue and something that's as spectacular as that. It'll be fun for our players to get over there and walk around and see it. But then, when the game starts, you're just back playing football, whether it's out in the practice field or a great stadium like that. But yeah, I think it adds a little excitement. I think more for the players and the coaches, to be honest with you. But it'll be fun to see it. I've heard some great things about it.
Cool.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Coach.
you.
Wait, before you walk away, you're attached.
Oh.
Yeah.
You'll be hearing me the rest of the day.
My
that
chief,
would not be good.
My chief photographer would not be happy if that thing rips off. Thanks, Coach.
I don't know if I would be.